So my name is Bart Skrupa, and I'm the co-founder and executive director of Groundwork Opportunities, or GO for short. Most of my life was in strategy and management consulting, so I did that for about 9 years, helping big companies get bigger. And then burned out, quit my job, and I moved to Madagascar, which my mom was not a big fan of that idea, and I got this opportunity to do coral reef research underwater. It's an amazing experience. I was doing something completely different, but I was in the ocean every day. I wore contacts, had no access to clean water, and I had a corneal ulcer develop that ate away the vision in my left eye. And when that happened, a hurricane hit. So when the hurricane hit, nothing could evacuate me. And I was taken to a Catholic mission where a half-paralyzed local doctor put popsicle sticks in my mouth for the pain and took out a knife and scraped it out of my eye. The most amazing thing out of that is he actually healed my vision. It took a few weeks, so it wasn't instantaneous, but I realized that even in the most areas of extreme poverty, there are amazing leaders and entrepreneurs that have the capacity to get their communities out of poverty. So we formed GO about 6 years ago. We started with nothing. The co-founder and I wrote a $1,000 check each. And we started with the mission of investing in leaders who have the capacity to end poverty. And we provide them three things: seed capital, visibility, and training. We crowdfunded our own money. We had an event, we climbed Kilimanjaro, and then we inspired enough people to start doing that for us. We call these people champions. Champions provide the seed capital and visibility for the entrepreneur. And we're big fans of lean startups, so we basically ran a minimum viable product, an MVP. Our website was crap. It didn't, even the crowdfunding platform that we built, it didn't update the numbers. Especially once we started having a few of them start raising money on other sites, they would charge anywhere from 4 to 12%. We had one champion that raised $10,000. We knew we wanted to do it on our own platform to save money and get all the data, but we just wanted to build it slowly. And that began to grow. Peter got more champions for him. And about his fourth champion was this woman named Vanessa. And Vanessa met Peter on her holiday. She came back, was inspired by what he was doing, and said, I want to raise $3,200 for Peter to build this biogas plant, because he didn't have electricity in his area. And Peter's vision was to teach farmers how to grow their food better, form them into cooperatives to sell at scale, and then be able to sell their produce on market so they can create jobs, get people out of poverty, and there's a whole bunch of other social factors of forming cooperatives. So Vanessa raised the money successfully. She ran a race, she ran a marathon in London, and we funded, like Pamela, we're the same way. 100% of all the champions, what they raise goes directly to the entrepreneur. We don't take a cut of that, mostly because it allows them to fundraise more. Our averages are 6 times the nonprofit crowdfunding average, and it inspires people. You can say every penny's going to go to this farm, or every penny's going to go to this biogas plant. That's different, that's disruptive. Our averages are much higher. So where was the failure in this? Well, the failure was that Peter got a proof of concept. And a proof of concept is great. He built the biogas plant. Vanessa's donors saw the impact. The farm had a source of electricity. He was training people, but not at scale. To do good, you have to be well. It's a great line from Vince DiCiliano, the CEO of New Resource Bank. He told us that here yesterday. And I thought about it, and that happens a lot with the leaders and the entrepreneurs we sponsor. They're so dedicated to launching their projects and getting a proof of pilot or building their school, they sometimes forget they need to earn money themselves. To do well, to do good, Peter has to be well. And a proof of concept is not enough. And so it was a failure. It was a great project, it was helping people, but it wasn't providing jobs for him and his staff. So Vanessa, one of the things we focus on with our champions is their storytelling. 2 years ago at SOCAP, there was a brilliant panel called The Art of the Storytelling Wars. And it was saying that if you want to build a movement, if you want to build champions of your cause, find your heroes. And if you think it's us, like the ED or the CEO or the board, they're not the hero. It's your customers, it's your donors, it's your champions. They're your heroes. And tell them how to tell stories. That was remarkably huge for us. We went from raising $150,000 that year when I heard that panel to $700,000 the next year. Because we focused not on how many hits they were getting or how much they were raising funds, but their storytelling. Going back to Vanessa. Vanessa, we worked with early on, told her how to tell the story of Peter, what she was doing, how she was being the change for Peter. Told the story during a job interview at an equity company. she said, the question was like, what are your leadership abilities? She said, well, through Go, I've raised funds for launch this biogas plant for this great entrepreneur named Peter. He's doing yada, yada, yada. And she got the job. And then the equity company said, that's great. We fund people like Peter. We have a CSR policy, and we give social investments to entrepreneurs in developing world areas. That led to a $30,000 social investment so Peter could start to scale his trainings. And then Peter was training thousands of farmers, and not hundreds. And then, as they began to grow metric tons of maize, they then started to look at a $210,000 social investment for him to process that maize, which has all now been impacting their community greatly. Which means that one story, one champion, created all that. And we brought Peter here to SOCAP last year to start sharing his story. That is the disruptiveness to us, is that when you have people that are the champions of you and your cause and your leaders, and the way they tell that to stories, the impact begins to scale. And why I'm here is because of that story. I've been to SOCAP 5 years. I started out as a volunteer, and as an attendee, and now as a panelist. I'm just proud to share the stage with you guys and all this collaboration here. These are the most fascinating conversations that happen all year round, and that's why I'm here.